In this video, I want to go over the blood supply of your digestive tract, your GI tract. Here is a view of your abdominal aorta. You see that if you look at the anterior aspect right down the midline, you'll see three major blood vessels that come off of it. Here we have the celiac trunk, which supplies the foregut. And then we have the superior mesenteric artery, SMA, which supplies the midgut. And then the IMA, which is inferior mesenteric artery, that supplies the hindgut. So these three are major blood vessels that supply your digestive tract. Okay. And don't confuse them with these other blood vessels that come off of the abdominal aorta. These we'll talk about in the next unit. Okay. But you notice that superior mesenteric artery and the celiac trunk are closer spaced than the distance between SMA and IMA. Okay. So this is a view that is obtained after removing the abdominal viscera, but generally we will see them being concealed behind those structures. Now here's another image showing where that celiac trunk is in relation to your digestive system, your abdominal viscera. This is your stomach. Okay. You can see that coming off of the celiac trunk, or the celiac trunk branches into three segments, three branches. This one is the left gastric artery. And then this one is the common hepatic artery because it goes toward the liver. Hepatic is liver, right? And then we have this one known as the splenic artery because it courses to the left toward the spleen. Okay. Well, why is this the left gastric artery? That's because there is another artery known as the right gastric artery that's actually connected with the left gastric artery. But the right gastric artery, which you're not responsible for in this class, actually comes off of the common hepatic artery. Okay, so this one specifically is the left gastric artery. Okay, you can see that it courses to the left and then sort of follows the curvature, the lesser curvature of your stomach. Here is your SMA, your superior mesenteric artery. Okay, here's another image. This shows the superior mesenteric artery, and it's supplied to your large intestine. And that's your inferior mesenteric artery, also supplying the large intestine, but to the sort of the segment of the large intestine that comes after this portion. Okay, now looking at the venous drainage of your digestive system. Recall from earlier lectures, we've talked about the hepatic portal system. The hepatic portal system, its importance is in that because it's a portal system, it contains two capillary beds. The first of which is responsible for absorption of nutrients from the intestines. Okay, and so when your blood passes through that first capillary bed, it absorbs the nutrients along with the toxins you ingest. Okay, that blood is then drained through the hepatic portal system. Okay, this is all hepatic portal system into your liver. Okay, that's where the second capillary bed lies. In that second capillary bed, this is where those nutrients, some of them are stored, some of them are processed, and then blood is also further detoxified. So if there's any drug you're taking, or other toxins you're taking, it's being processed and detoxified in the liver before that blood is then drained through the hepatic veins into the inferior vena cava. So essentially, this prevents unprocessed blood from directly entering into your general circulation. Because where does the inferior vena cava carries the blood? Right? It carries the blood back into the heart. And then the heart does what? The heart ejects the blood to the general circulation. It distributes blood to the rest of your body, right? So if there's a toxin that you ingested, we want to detoxify it before that blood is then distributed to the rest of your body. So that's the importance of your hepatic portal system. Okay. Now here are the blood vessels or the veins draining from your digestive tract. Okay, here, since the small intestine has been cut away already, we don't see the veins that are draining directly from the small intestine. And recall that most of the nutrient absorption and toxin absorption is done in your small intestine. So your large intestine mostly just reabsorbs water. But this one is your splenic vein. The splenic vein joins with the inferior mesenteric vein. And then they then are joined by the superior mesenteric vein to form the hepatic portal vein. Here we have the hepatic portal vein. Let me show you the labeled version. Okay, so this is your superior mesenteric vein. Here, this is the hepatic portal vein. This is also known by the name of just portal vein. So you can write hepatic portal vein or portal vein. Okay. This is the most well-known portal system, even though we have other portal veins in our blood, in your body. But since this is the most commonly talked about, oftentimes we just call this one the portal vein. Now, this is not to be confused with hepatic veins. So hepatic portal vein and hepatic veins are very different. You see, one drains into the liver. Okay. The other drains from the liver into the inferior vena cava. Okay, so hepatic portal vein carries that pre-detoxified blood, so it still contains the toxin as well as nutrients, right, into the liver where the blood is processed. After the blood has been detoxified, it then drains from the tiny venules into the veins, which then merge to become eventually the hepatic veins. The hepatic veins then drain into the inferior vena cava. Okay. I want to show you the same thing on this complete anatomy model. I'm going to have to remove some digestive organs in order to show you those blood vessels. Okay, so here we have the abdominal aorta and the inferior vena cava. Okay, and this first major blood vessel that supplies your digestive tract on the abdominal aorta, this is the celiac trunk. You can see the celiac trunk has the 3 branches. Okay, this one is the left gastric artery. Let me put back the stomach. Okay, you see how the left gastric artery courses on the lesser curvature of your stomach. Okay, I'm going to hide that again. Okay. So your left gastric artery, and this is your splenic artery, go into the spleen. This is your spleen. And then that third branch of the celiac trunk, this is the common hepatic artery. Okay. It later splits into further branches, but you see that's coursing toward the right, going to the liver. This is where your liver is. Moving further down your abdominal aorta, we have the superior mesenteric artery. This is the superior mesenteric artery. Okay. You can see its supply to the small intestine and the proximal half of the large intestine. I'll try to show you the side view. Okay, you can see all these blood vessels that's draping over the intestines. These are actually all branches mostly coming off of the superior mesenteric artery. Okay, and here we have the inferior mesenteric artery. Okay. Now, in terms of venous drainage, you can see this is where our spleen is, and draining from the spleen is the splenic vein, okay, which merges with the inferior mesenteric vein. The two then continues as a splenic vein, and then joining the superior mesenteric vein, they become the hepatic portal vein. The hepatic portal vein brings that blood with nutrients as well as toxins into the liver. Okay, into the liver. So these are branches of the hepatic portal vein. Okay. These branches will branch further, become microscopic venules and sinusoids, which are not depicted in this image, but eventually they merge again into venules and then veins, and then eventually further merge into the hepatic veins. These hepatic veins, okay, will then drain, you see, into the inferior vena cava, which then carries the blood back to the right atrium, where the blood is then goes through the heart and then is then distributed to the general circulation. Okay. And finally, the blood vessels not really supplying to the digestive tract, but going further down the abdominal aorta. This is where it bifurcates. It bifurcates into two branches, the right and left common iliac arteries. Right common iliac artery, left common iliac artery. Okay. And then similarly with veins, with the inferior vena cava coming from the merging of the right and left common iliac veins. So these are your common iliac veins. Let's look at it from the back. Right common iliac vein, left common iliac vein. Okay. Now the common iliac arteries further bifurcate into the external and the internal iliac artery. So this is the right external iliac artery. This is the right internal iliac artery. This one is the left external iliac artery, and this is the left internal iliac artery. Similarly for the veins here, these two are the external iliac veins. Okay, so this one on the right is the right external iliac vein. And then this one is the left external iliac vein. This one is right internal iliac vein. This one is the left internal iliac vein. Okay, I think that's it.